everybody, welcome back Attack. I'm Skyland Shore, and this is going to be my first impression on the new free-to-play action RPG for mobile devices. This is going to be Marvel's Future Fight. Now, this game probably has a little bit of hype behind it because there's actually a nice following behind the Marvel game Contest of Champions, which is a fighting game. This is an action RPG, okay? And it's actually kind of different, a lot different from Contest of Champions. Now, it is good. Okay, I think it isn't a horrible game, but there are some things that I really dislike about this game, and I really want to start my first impressions off with that. For one, okay, there is no actual multiplayer. Like, I mean, maybe they're allowed to actually list the game as multiplayer because there is a sort of conflict that with other players. Like, you can fight other players' teams, but you're not actually fighting other players. The multiplayer is asynchronous, but it's asynchronous in such a way that it basically essentially isn't even multiplayer. And this is a big thing that I have against a lot of action RPGs do this. Even Zenonia, a series that I freaking love, does this. Now they are redeeming themselves with a new Zenonia Online, so that's cool, but it really, I guess, it makes me distraught when I see games like Spirit Lords, for instance. I just did a review on that. Spirit Lords actually has co-op, and then there's, what is it, Dungeon Hunter 4, which actually has PvP and also co-op. There's live multiplayer in these games, and then there are asynchronous games that do it right, like Clash of Clans or Words with Friends. Like, there's ways to make these kind of multiplayer games work, and this action RPG just doesn't do it. So, right off the bat, I really dislike that, and I dislike how shady they are about that. There's so many of these freemium mobile games, or even browser games, honestly, that they will sell themselves on their multiplayer, you know, fight all the hundreds of thousands of players, you know, beat their heroes and their champions or whatever. But in the end, when you actually finally level up in order to unlock the arena, see, that's a big telling sign there. If you have to unlock the arena after grinding for hours, then you probably know that the arena has been hidden away because it's actually not a good feature. That's freaking tragic. Now, Spirit Lords, as soon as you join the game, boom, you instantly get online. So, anyways, this game actually has some cool mechanics. Okay, so let's get into some of the good things. It looks great. It really does. It looks great. It doesn't run that amazing, but maybe it's kind of understandable for how action-packed it is. But if you guys have played or even seen a video of Lego minifigures online, we actually have a first impression of that too. You control 3 heroes, okay? So you can rotate between these guys pretty much as fast as you want, and they all have their own separate cooldowns and separate abilities, so you have a lot of strategy with building your team, and you have a lot of tactics with when to use them, and also a lot of mechanics. But the mechanics are kind of lessened in this game. I know in a lot of these action RPGs for mobile, I mean, it's the same for Zenonia, for Spirit Lords, for a lot of these action RPGs, they kind of have like an auto-aim system, but I felt like it was so heavy in this game that it completely deterred from the experience. Like, I really felt like I could just hit any button and it would just, I don't know, I'd kind of just win. So that was, it kind of sucked. I really didn't like that. Now, I know that there's a need for auto-aim, but it just felt so heavy that in the end, I just didn't have any fun. It was just like the game played itself, which, by the way, this game has a freaking autoplay feature. Now, I don't know how you guys feel about autoplay, but I think by now, maybe you know how I feel. I freaking hate it. If I ever see a fucking autoplay button, I freak out. So yeah, this game does have an autoplay button. It has autoplay with the PvP. It has autoplay with some dungeons. I don't know if it's all dungeons all the time. I'm not sure about that. I don't think you have to pay money for it. It's just kind of like you can let the AI do its thing. But overall, I think you would perform better if you yourself do it. But the fact that there is even an autoplay feature is just, I honestly believe, detrimental for the whole scene, the whole entire environment of mobile gaming. It gives a bad reputation for other games. Just like when one freemium game charges like $100, like Plants vs. Zombies. You know, whenever that came out, Plants vs. Zombies 2, with its price and everything. Like, a lot of people just really freaked out over all mobile games, all freemium games. Now, not all mobile games or freemium games are bad. It's just the vast majority of them really are pretty bad. And this game really has kind of like the coding of a really fantastic and nice game, and I think it's probably really good for children. Even though it has like high intensity graphics, it doesn't look too cartoony. It's actually kind of gritty, to be honest. So I think Spirit Lords is really good for children, and I think this game is also really good for children, but it's just really grind oriented, you know. So if you are an adult and you maybe want to play along with your child, you don't get that experience. In Spirit Lords you can do that, but in this game you don't quite have that experience at all. I mean, you just don't. So, basically, in this game, what you want to do is you are playing through these dungeons, and they're kind of like scenarios, like there's a little story behind it. You're playing these scenarios, and you're grinding these biometrics, and you have to get individual biometrics for specific, heroes or whatever, comic book heroes. And you can also get some villains, too, which is pretty interesting. I wanted to play as Ultron, but the one thing I really don't like is that in the beginning, you don't get any sort of choice of the heroes you begin with. I don't like that. You get no customization of your team, really. It's just a little bit freaking tragic. This game could have been really fun, okay? Now, there are some superhero games that have really shown, like, okay, Marvel, Contest of Champions. It's a mobile fighting game. Who would have thought that that game would have actually have been good, had have a competitive following? Who would have thought that? And in the end, it was actually, hey, there it is. It's great. Now, this game, I don't think so. I think that this game is living in the shadow of, one, for Marvel, the universe, the characters that it also inhabits it, and other action RPGs on the mobile. I think there are better. But if you have a child, if there is a child in your life, I guess, I think this game can't hurt. It's a spectacle. It's a lot of fun to watch, I guess, but pretty much, the game's going to play itself. And overall, for adults as like an actual gamer, now, I mean, children are actual gamers too, but guys, you know what I mean. For people who are looking for a competitive environment, for a hard game, for difficulty, for challenge, something other than just a spectacle, then, this isn't your game. You're going to want to go maybe for Spirit Lords. Spirit Lords is good, Dungeon Hunter, and even the Zenonia series. So, because if you want to play this game, and even if it's single player is kind of AFK worthy, normally what would redeem it would be its arenas, and this game does not have actual arenas. So, yeah, there's that. So that's it. That's my review of Marvel Future Fight. Overall, I felt like the story was extremely cliche, nothing too interesting there, so there's really even nothing to talk about with that. And overall, the game is just nothing terribly new, but it is kind of fun to watch. It really is. So, it's good for kids. That's all I gotta say. Like and subscribe if you want to stay notified, and please come back, Attack. And again, thanks for watching. Welcome back, Attack. Today we're going to be talking about the top 10 free-to-play MMOs for this year, for 2015, and I think across all the genres for free-to-plays, we've seen so much innovation in MOBAs, in MMOs, in like card games. We've seen so many new things this past year, and hopefully, maybe, probably so, 2015 is going to be just as exciting.